BIP of bizarre introductions, and here's a video I thought about making for a while. Is there a woman in Yu-Gi-Oh that's good enough for Seto Kaiba? You know, that's actually a human woman. Well, that's what this video is made for. We're going to go through each Yu-Gi-Oh season to find a woman that would be a solid fit for dating Kaiba. And by season, I mean Yu-Gi-Oh series. All of them. Okay, except for one, but we'll talk about why. Basically, here are the qualifications. They don't entirely need to be rich or financially successful. It helps, but if their personality fits or can keep Kaiba's personality in line, while also being a foil or has aspects relatable to his character, then I am going to consider that. 2. Kaiba's age. I'm not entirely sure about. He starts about in high school in the original 57 chapters, but by the end of the series, he should be around 18. So I'm going to lean towards more older women instead of teens. So for 7 Minutes and Go Rush, I won't be including most female characters from that show as options. So, first up, Mai. No, I'm not breaking up some hypothetical situation where Joey and Mai don't end up together. But I can see this being a decent possibility. Mai's actually got some compassion and respect for kids. She helped out in a virtual reality arc that took place before Battle City. And Kaiba even gave her credit for actually being able to take Raw and outplay Merrick in the Battle City arc for a bit. Now, in terms of it being possible, I could see Kaiba giving her a shot. Unfortunately, I'm not going to put her as an option because Joey exists. But as a hypothetical, she'd be pretty high. Then Ishizu, unironically, is a great fit. She and Kaiba are older siblings, willing to do anything to save their younger siblings, only to end up placing their hopes on Yusei to the point they're willing to end their lives if they can rescue Mokuba and Kaiba respectively. Well, Mokuba and Merrick respectively. Despite their duel, they have a huge respect for one another, and despite Kaiba's skepticisms, she's the person he's been able to empathize the most after Yugi and Mokuba, and given by the end of the series both are on healthier terms, she's actually pretty high on my rankings. Vivian, on the other hand, is a no. The only reason she was into Yugi was mostly out of status, and if she kidnapped his grandfather in order to get Yugi's attention, I don't trust she wouldn't do the same thing to Mokuba to get to Kaiba. Granted, Mokuba's been able to escape his own kidnappers before, so I think he'd be fine, but there's no way in the fake Shadow Realm would Kaiba ever want to get involved with someone like that in his life. Camula is an interesting case, because you could make the argument Kaiba has the big 5 bodies he can use as fuel for people to revive, and hey, permanently getting rid of one group of terrible people and restoring a species of ethical beings isn't inherently a bad thing. Look, I am not here willing to defend genocide, but we know vampires aren't exactly the most friendly group in Yu-Gi-Oh! And if Camula was willing to defeat Crowler, use one boy as a sacrifice, and also target another teacher for the sake of reviving her people, Kaiba would not hesitate to end her if she tried something like that on Mokuba. So, unfortunately, she's out. Yeah, it's almost like a Shizu. Then there's Miyuchi Sayo, aka Serena in the English dub. She's not necessarily a villain, hell, she's got a fair bit in common with Ishizu. Both have supernatural powers, both align themselves with the hero and a rival despite opposing them, technically at one point. Both want to get their brother back to safety and ultimately help the heroes out in the final problems of that arc. The major problems are that while Kaiba isn't exactly dismissive of supernatural events if you actually watch the original in Japanese, and they spend more time technically planning a cult against the school, it is a school that he owns and he wouldn't even be more supportive of her brother for doing it. So dating the sister would kind of be a little bit of a questionable look. So unfortunately, she's not high on my list. Now, Professor Emi Ayukawa / Fontaine in the dub ain't actually too bad of a choice. She's a nurse, a gym teacher, the head of the Obelisk Blue Dorm. She's good with constant medical attention in kids, so Kaiba would be fine with her and Mokuba getting along with her pretty well. And Kaiba needs someone romantically that's not a complete tool, so I actually support this ship. Now, Mina / Mikage is a tricky one. Hell, you could argue she doesn't really have much of a personality at all. Now, as a secretary, she's not exactly culpable for Goodwin's manipulation of the poor and rich. So in terms of ethics, Kaiba wouldn't necessarily have a reason to not trust her. That being said, she does have a type, and that is being pursued by big, strong, powerful men with trust issues and rough backstories. So the real question becomes if Kaiba would find her romantically interesting. I do not feel like he would, so she would be an effective secretary at least. I'm going to get so many questionable comments for this, and in future hindsight, I don't blame any of you. As for Martha, she's got ethics, kindness, care for kids, empathy, and maturity, but Martha might be a little bit too old for Kaiba. So if we count the heads of orphanages, mothers, easily one of the best moms in Yu-Gi-Oh! Fight me, but probably not exactly a good wife candidate for Kaiba. Misty actually wouldn't be a bad choice when you look at it. A victim of losing a brother, a former victim of occult and dangerous organizations like what the Kaiba brothers had to deal with before, a good duelist, has to let go of her burdens and demons, and while being a fortune teller may not be ideal for Kaiba Corp, I can see Kaiba respecting her enough and giving her enough of a venue to operate those skills. So we're going to consider her a solid choice at best. Yeah, came out really better when you think about it out loud. And when you say it out loud, too. Sherry's a weird case. Both her and Kaiba have dead parents, but were kind of vigilantes against people who wronged them. Though they're kind of on the opposite ends of, hey, my parents are a motivator, even though both of them lost their birth parents and only both have one person in their lives they can trust outside of the main cast. Post-villain arc, she seems to be someone trying to get her life back in order, and Kaiba does respect strong women with a solid conviction. I wouldn't consider her a top-tier candidate, but I think she's solid enough you could make an argument. Now for Akari or Akari Tsukumo. I have many things to say about Zexo, mostly positive, but Akari would actually make a great choice in hindsight. Hear me out. She'd be great with Mokuba. Kaiba Corp's resources would help her investigation skills a ton. She's not afraid to call out someone like Kaiba out on their actions if they go too far or hurt themselves. She doesn't tolerate tomfoolery in her relationships either. Really, neither should anyone unless it's for fun. And given Kaiba has been known to cross a line every now and then, yeah, Kari would unironically make a great fit keeping his ego in check. As for Henrita/Himika in Arc 5, both are in charge of corporations, but she's got kids, one of whom is around Reiji's age. Himika's less proactive than the rest of her family, and Kaiba wouldn't be okay with using children as tools for war. But she's not exactly an evil POS like his father was, though in terms of training a younger sibling to be a prodigy, Kaiba technically also did the same thing to Mokuba before character development, even though Reiba was just a puppet to her, until Reiba sacrificed herself and Himika realized how messed up she was to treat him that way. Well, her that way. So, yeah, Himika's kind of ranking low. Now, Emma from Vrains ain't a bad fit. Both her and Kaiba grew up with a questionable family, resulting in all of their parents officially dead or incapacitated. Kaiba inherited a company while Ghost Girls got ties to using the cyber world for money against the rich and powerful, only to end up using it to help the heroes fight the other terrorists, the rogue Ignis, and AI. So, if Kaiba needs someone with a sketchy past, good skills, and has a decent moral compass, Emma's not exactly a bad choice. Queen and Kaiba are so damn interesting to compare. Both are CEOs of massive corporations with a ton of baggage, drama, and attempts to restore their reputation, resulting in doing terrible actions and hiring bounty hunters. The difference is Kaiba, post-memory wipe, at least tried to make up for his mistakes, focus on getting Mokuba and his company back, and uses resources to combat the Red Hunters and later Bakura. Queen, on the other hand, doubled down, chased after the same children she had a hand in being responsible for torturing and covering it under the rug. Considering Kaiba's relationship with Mokuba, Queen represents the very type of person Kaiba despises. Would make for a great duel, though. Mimi somehow might be qualified for the best option. Despite her dwarfism, she's got experience as a single mom. And if we're talking about running a company, remember, she's been the CEO, a member of the energy department, a Goha library receptionist, and a member of the Tops of Hexagons. And she even ended the series as the Goha Corporation vice president. That's a great resume for being chairman and CEO of Kaiba Corp. Hell, she's got enough empathy to appease his ego, and she'd be great for helping him run Kaiba Corp. There's just one question I'm not sure I have the answer to. Would Kaiba really be the type of person to not give a damn about her size and dwarfism? Probably not, but you never know. Like, Mimi's a great character, but yeah, dwarfism is kind of a hard subject, and anyone who does date people with dwarfism kind of gets questioned under a lens that may not entirely be fair for someone who just wants to find love and happiness. But that's what I'm going to let the comment section decide on. And for my final option, because I'm not going with the Gooner choice with Warden from Go Rush, but instead we're going with Princess G, Gibuni Parasaki from Sevens. Honestly, she's the pick I would go with now that I think about it. She was willing to be a substitute teacher. She supports a new generation. Her music career would be great for Kaiba Land. She's an adult who's actually good at card games. She's also a good mentor. Will shove it in Kaiba's face if his company does something too far. And she's great with kids. Plus, she's chill. Not a pushover, but chill. So if I had to narrow down my choices, there's Ishizu, Fonda, Akari, Emma, Mimi, under some stipulations, and Princess G. But again, this is all just for fun. Tell me who you think would make sense to be Kaiba's partner in the comments below. If you think my choices would make sense, or if you had anyone else in mind I didn't bring up, also let me know. Plus, I know my reasons could be pretty sketchy, so the more people that comment, the more we can have a bit more of a discussion going on. And everyone knows that at this point, I respond to every comment I can as best as possible. So, thank you all for listening, and BIP of Bizarre Interest Productions, signing off.